Most people who rely on Social Security assume there's nothing they can do to meaningfully change their monthly check once retirement begins. But that assumption quietly leaves a lot of money on the table, because even though Social Security has strict rules and caps, there are still proven ways to increase what you receive over your lifetime, sometimes by thousands of dollars. And those opportunities matter more than ever in 2026. When the average retired worker's check sits at about $2,071 a month, even after the latest cost of living increase, which sounds reasonable until you realize Social Security is only designed to replace about 40% of pre-retirement income, meaning most Americans feel the gap almost immediately, especially as food, housing, utilities, and healthcare continue to rise faster than benefits. And that's why understanding how the system actually works is no longer optional. It's essential. The truth is, Social Security was never meant to do all the heavy lifting in retirement, but the way you interact with the program can dramatically affect how much support it ultimately provides. And while not everything is within your control, there are 3 specific moves that consistently make a measurable difference. Whether you are still working, thinking about claiming soon, or already receiving benefits. And each of these moves involves trade-offs that need to be understood clearly before decisions are made, because what helps one person could hurt another if applied blindly. The first and most powerful move involves something many people rush through without realizing the long-term consequences. And that is when you choose to start collecting your benefits. Because while Social Security allows you to claim as early as age 62, doing so permanently reduces your monthly payments. Not temporarily, not for a few years, but for the rest of your life. And that reduction can be significant, reaching close to 30% compared to what you would receive at your full retirement age, which for most people today is 60. What many people don't fully appreciate is that delaying your application doesn't just avoid reductions, it actively increases your benefit. Because once you reach full retirement age, every single month you delay claiming earns you delayed retirement credits. And those credits increase your check by about 2/3 of 1% per month, which works out to roughly 8% per year. And those increases continue accumulating until age 70, when your benefit reaches its maximum possible amount. That means someone who waits even one additional year after full retirement age locks in a higher check for life, and someone who waits until 70 could be receiving hundreds of dollars more per month compared to someone who claimed early, which, over a long retirement, can translate into tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes more. But this move isn't about blindly waiting as long as possible. Because for people with limited savings, health concerns, or the need for immediate income, delaying may not be practical. And that's why this decision has to be balanced against your real-world circumstances, not just the math. Even delaying by a few months can help, though, and that's the key takeaway. Because the system rewards patience incrementally, not just at extremes. And understanding that gives you flexibility rather than locking you into an all-or-nothing mindset. The second proven move applies to people who are working while collecting Social Security, especially those who claim before reaching full retirement age. Because this is where many people get blindsided by something called the earnings test, which quietly reduces benefits if income crosses certain thresholds. And in 2026, those thresholds have increased but still matter a great deal. If you are under full retirement age for the entire year and earning more than $24,480, Social Security withholds $1 in benefits for every $2 earned above that limit. And for people who will reach full retirement age during the year, the threshold is higher. $65,160. With $1 withheld for every $3 earned above that amount until the month you reach full retirement age, after which the earnings test disappears entirely. What causes confusion is the idea that withheld benefits are lost forever, which is not true, because once you reach full retirement age, Social Security recalculates your benefit and gradually credits that money back through higher future payments. But that doesn't change the fact that reduced checks in the short term can create cash flow stress for people who need every dollar. And that's why understanding these limits before making work decisions is critical. For some people, adjusting work hours temporarily can protect benefits, while for others, earning more money still makes sense, even with withholding. But the mistake is not knowing the rule exists at all. Because when people are surprised by smaller checks, it creates unnecessary anxiety and confusion that could have been avoided with planning. The third move is the one almost no one talks about, yet it can be incredibly powerful for the right person. And that involves either withdrawing your application or suspending your benefits, depending on where you are in the claiming process, because Social Security does allow limited do-overs under very specific conditions. If you started collecting benefits within the last 12 months, you may be able to withdraw your application, essentially resetting the clock as if you had never claimed. But this option comes with a serious requirement. which is that you must repay all benefits you and any family members received based on your record. And for many people, that simply isn't feasible, especially if the money has already been spent. However, for those who can afford repayment, this reset can lead to significantly higher lifetime benefits if they later claim at a more advantageous age. And for those who are past that 12-month window or cannot repay the money, there is another option once full retirement age is reached, which is to suspend benefits voluntarily. Suspending benefits allows your checks to stop temporarily without repayment, and during that suspension period, your benefit continues to grow by about 8% per year until age 70, at which point you can restart payments at a permanently higher level. And while this option requires having another source of income or savings to cover expenses in the meantime, it can dramatically increase future monthly payments for people who are able to wait. What all three of these moves have in common is that they require awareness and intention, because Social Security will not guide you through these choices. No one from the government will call you to explain your options. And silence is often mistaken for stability, when in reality, it simply means nothing was explained. And that's why so many people leave money on the table without realizing it. Social Security is complex by design, and while it may never feel simple, understanding these core strategies gives you leverage. Because even within a system that feels rigid, there is still room for smart decisions. And those decisions compound over time, especially when combined with other retirement income sources like savings, employer retirement plans, or part-time work. The most important thing to remember is that there is no single perfect strategy for everyone, because health, savings, workability, and personal goals all matter. But what hurts people most is not making an informed choice. And whether you are already collecting benefits or still planning your retirement, knowing these three proven moves allows you to make decisions with clarity instead of fear. At the end of the day, Social Security may not be designed to make you wealthy, but it is designed to respond to timing, earnings, and patience. And the more you understand those levers, the more control you keep over the income you worked your entire life to earn.